Everyone talks about what makes relationships last: communication, trust, honesty, the usual checklist. But have you ever noticed how the happiest couples don't just love each other at night, they start their mornings with love? When you wake up next to someone you love, the first words, the first glance, and even the first tone you use sets the emotional rhythm of your entire day together. The happiest couples understand this truth deeply. They don't start their mornings with complaints, irritation, or silence. They start with appreciation, because appreciation is not just a word, it's an energy, a message that says, I see you, I value you, and I'm glad you're here. Think about it. How often do we wake up and immediately dive into everything that's wrong? I didn't sleep enough. You took the blanket. We're going to be late. The alarm didn't go off. That's how most people start their day, with negativity disguised as normal conversation. But for happy couples, the morning is sacred. It's not about perfection. It's about perspective. They choose to start their day with gratitude, not grievances. When you wake up and say something as simple as good morning or I'm happy to see you, you create a micro moment of emotional safety. You tell your partner, you're my peace, not my pressure. It's amazing how such a small gesture can shift the atmosphere. Instead of waking up into tension, you wake up into warmth. And here's the secret: that one moment of appreciation doesn't just make the morning better, it rewires how both of you see each other throughout the day. Appreciation is one of the rare emotional languages that never expires. You can say I love you 100 times, but when you say I appreciate you, it hits differently. It's specific, it's conscious. It's about noticing the way they made coffee, the way they look half asleep but still smile, the way they exist beside you. Happy couples understand that it's not about grand speeches, it's about the smallest acknowledgements. One partner might whisper, thanks for making the bed last night, or I love waking up next to you. These moments don't just sound nice, they build trust, because when you feel appreciated, you relax. You don't need to defend, you don't need to prove, you just be. Appreciation softens the edges that life sharpens. The truth is, people don't fall out of love overnight. They fall out of love through thousands of mornings where appreciation was replaced by assumption, where effort went unnoticed, where presence became routine. But appreciation reverses that. It reminds you why you started. It brings the focus back to what's right instead of what's missing. Right? And here's something powerful. When you start your day with appreciation, it doesn't just change your relationship, it changes your entire mindset. You become more patient, more empathetic, more grounded, because gratitude in one area spills into every other area. If you can wake up and choose to appreciate your partner instead of criticizing them, you'll find yourself being kinder to strangers, to co-workers, even to yourself. Happy couples don't always wake up feeling happy. They create happiness by focusing on appreciation first. It's a conscious practice, not a natural default. Sometimes one partner is tired, grumpy, or distracted, but the other gently brings them back with appreciation. I know you're tired, but I love that you're still here. That's not weakness, that's maturity. Because appreciation is a form of leadership in love. It says, I choose to see the good even when it's easier to see the flaws. There's something beautiful about waking up and making the person beside you feel seen before the rest of the world does. It's not about flattery or fake positivity. It's about connection. You're saying, before I face the noise of the world, I choose to start with you. When you practice this every morning, something magical happens. Your partner starts mirroring it back. They begin to notice your efforts too. They start saying thank you more, smiling more, touching more. That one morning habit of appreciation turns into a cycle of kindness that feeds itself day after day. The happiest couples don't have perfect mornings. They have intentional ones. They know that love doesn't always come naturally, but appreciation keeps it alive. Every good morning, every I'm grateful for you is like emotional oxygen. It keeps the connection breathing. So when tomorrow comes, before the alarm rings or the phone lights up, take a second to appreciate the person beside you. Not because they're perfect, but because they're yours. And because in a world where everyone rushes past what matters, you're choosing to pause, to notice, and to say, I'm glad you're here. There's a difference between being next to someone and truly being with them. Many couples wake up in the same bed, breathe the same air, and still feel miles apart. Physical closeness doesn't always mean emotional connection. The happiest couples know this. They don't confuse proximity for presence. They make it a point to be there, not just be around, because love doesn't thrive in the same room. It thrives in the same moment. Most people reach for their phones before they even reach for their partner's hand. They check messages, emails, or scroll through social media while the person they love lies silently beside them without realizing it. They send a quiet message that says, "Everything else is more important than you right now." Over time, that message sinks in. It creates distance. It builds walls. The happiest couples, though, choose differently. Before checking what the world wants, they check in with each other. It's not about long conversations or grand gestures. Sometimes it's just a look, a smile, or a gentle good morning. But in that small act, they're saying, "You come first." Presence is one of the purest forms of love because it cannot be faked. You can't pretend to be present. Your energy reveals the truth. When you're with someone, really with them, they feel it. They feel safe, seen, and settled. Happy couples make their mornings an intentional moment of presence. They pause, even for a few seconds, to acknowledge each other before diving into the day. That pause is powerful. It tells your partner, before the world demands my attention, you have it. It's easy to underestimate the value of that kind of attention, but presence is the foundation of connection. It's what makes a relationship feel alive. When one partner listens, looks, and truly notices, it creates an invisible thread that ties two people together. That thread is what keeps love steady through chaos. Without it, you can live together but drift apart. Presence in the morning isn't always about deep talks or long cuddles. Sometimes it's quiet, a shared silence over coffee, sitting side by side without needing to fill the air with words. In that stillness, there's understanding, there's comfort. The simple act of being fully there communicates more love than any "I love you" said half-heartedly. In relationships that lack presence, mornings often feel mechanical. Two people move around like co-workers in a shared apartment, brushing teeth, making breakfast, heading to work, without truly crossing paths emotionally. But in relationships where presence is protected, every morning feels like a reset. It's the moment where both people say, "Let's start the day together, not separately." That unity changes how they handle the rest of the day. They carry that connection like armor against stress and distraction. Presence requires one thing: attention. And attention is the most expensive gift you can give someone in today's world. We live in constant noise, flooded with notifications, deadlines, and distractions. So when you give your partner your undivided attention, when you look at them and really see them, it's rare and it's sacred. It says, "You're more important than anything that's trying to pull me away right now." Happy couples understand that mornings are not just the beginning of a day, they're the reset of a connection. They use that time to tune into each other's energy. They notice if one seems stressed, tired, or distant, and they check in, not out. "How did you sleep? Are you okay? Anything you need today?" These are simple questions, but they carry emotional weight. They show awareness, they show care. And it's not just about words. Sometimes presence is a touch, a hand reaching out beneath the covers, a warm hug before getting up, a forehead kiss before leaving the bed. It's in the gestures that require no language. Those small moments make people feel prioritized, and that feeling is what sustains love when life gets busy. The truth is, presence is love made visible. It's not about spending hours together. It's about making the minutes you do have meaningful. It's about giving your partner your attention before giving it to the world. It's about showing that your relationship is not an afterthought. It's the starting point of your day. When two people wake up and consciously choose to connect, even briefly, they remind each other of their why. They reinforce that they're not just sharing space, they're sharing life. And that one moment of presence becomes a silent promise. No matter how hectic the day gets, you and I are still here together, fully. Physical affection is one of the most powerful ways happy couples stay connected, especially in the quiet moments of the morning. It's not about passion or performance, it's about presence. A hug, a kiss on the forehead, a hand on the back, these are not small gestures. They are emotional lifelines. They remind both people that love still lives here, that connection still breathes between them. Happy couples understand that physical affection isn't something you reserve for special occasions. It's something you practice daily, especially at the start of the day when the world hasn't yet claimed your attention. Think about it. When you wake up, your mind is still soft, unguarded, and open. You're not yet wearing your work mask, not yet scrolling through distractions, not yet consumed by tasks. That's when connection matters most. The happiest couples take advantage of this window. They touch before they talk. They reach out before they rush out. Maybe it's a simple arm around the shoulder, fingers intertwined under the covers, or a playful kiss that lasts just long enough to say, "I'm still here with you." That kind of connection is what anchors love in the middle of life's chaos. Science backs it up too. When we touch the person we love, our brains release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which lowers stress, increases trust, and strengthens emotional safety. But beyond chemistry, it's communication. Physical affection says everything words sometimes fail to. It says you're safe. It says I care. It says I choose you again. And that message, repeated every morning, keeps the relationship emotionally alive. In many relationships, physical affection fades over time, not because the love disappears, but because routine replaces intention. Couples start skipping those small gestures, thinking they don't matter anymore. They stop hugging as they pass each other, stop holding hands at breakfast, stop leaning in for that goodbye kiss before work. Slowly, without realizing it, distance sneaks in. But happy couples guard against that. They know touch is not optional, it's essential. It's a reminder that no matter how familiar you've become, you still matter to each other. There's something beautifully grounding about the simplicity of a morning touch. It doesn't have to lead anywhere, it just needs to be. When one partner pulls the other close, even half asleep, it's a silent way of saying, "I feel safe with you." When someone kisses their partner's cheek before getting out of bed, it's saying, "You're the first warmth I want to feel today." These gestures seem small, but they create emotional security, the kind that words alone can't. Physical affection also acts as an emotional reset button. If there were small tensions or misunderstandings from the day before, a simple touch can begin to melt them. It's a quiet truce, a way of saying, "We're okay, let's start fresh." You don't need to have the perfect words to fix everything. Sometimes your arms do the talking better. What many people don't realize is that affection builds more than connection. It builds resilience. Couples who touch more often tend to argue less, forgive faster, and bounce back from stress more easily. Why? Because their bond isn't just verbal, it's visceral. Their bodies have learned to associate each other with calm and comfort. So even when life throws challenges their way, that small gesture of touch reminds them they're not facing it alone. And it's not about always being romantic or dramatic. Why some mornings affection looks like a gentle pat on the shoulder while passing in the kitchen, or resting a head on a shoulder while sipping coffee. It's not about the act itself, it's about what it communicates. I notice you. When affection becomes part of the morning routine, it creates consistency, and consistency is what builds emotional safety over time. Even on rushed mornings, happy couples make space for this. A 1-second hug before heading out the door, a quick squeeze of the hand, or a playful kiss goodbye. These small rituals are love's way of saying, "We're in this together." They don't take time, they take awareness. It's easy to say "I love you," but it's physical affection that makes someone feel loved. The happiest couples treat touch like a language, one they speak fluently every morning without needing translation. Because long after words fade, it's how we make each other feel that lingers. A kiss on the forehead, a gentle squeeze, or a quiet embrace might seem ordinary, but in truth, they're extraordinary. They turn an ordinary morning into a moment of connection. They remind both hearts that love isn't just something you say, it's something you do, one touch at a time. Words are powerful, especially in the morning when the heart is still soft and the day hasn't hardened it yet. The happiest couples understand this. They don't let their first words to each other be about chores, schedules, or complaints. Instead, they make sure that before they step into the noise of the world, they offer each other something gentle, kind, and uplifting. They say something that affirms love, something that builds connection, something that reminds the other person, "You are seen, you are valued, and I still choose you today." Saying something kind before leaving bed isn't about being overly romantic or performing affection. It's about recognizing that words carry emotional weight, and how you use them in the morning can set the tone for your entire relationship that day. Think about it. When you wake up to a complaint, even a small one, it lingers. "Your snoring kept me up." "Why didn't you turn off the lights?" "You're late again." It might seem harmless, but those little words chip away at emotional safety. They introduce tension before the day even begins. Happy couples do the opposite. They use their words to build, not break. They replace criticism with kindness, sarcasm with sincerity, and silence with affection. Right? It doesn't have to be grand or poetic. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "You look peaceful this morning," or "I'm happy you're here." It's the intention behind the words that matters, not the sophistication. A gentle compliment in the morning acts like a spark. It lights something warm that lasts through the day. When your partner hears kind words before stepping into the world, it strengthens them. It reminds them they're not alone, that someone believes in them, that love greets them before stress does. These morning compliments don't always have to be about appearance. In fact, the most meaningful ones go deeper. "I love how patient you are with the kids. You always make the mornings easier. I admire how hard you work." These small acknowledgements speak directly to the heart. They validate effort, not just existence. They make your partner feel appreciated for who they are and what they bring into your life. When someone feels seen, they naturally give more love back. That's why the happiest couples seem to stay emotionally in sync. They constantly remind each other of their value through words. Kindness in the morning also softens the edges of routine. Life can become repetitive. Wake up, get ready, rush out, and in that rush, it's easy to forget to be gentle. But when one person pauses to say something kind, it interrupts the autopilot. It brings a touch of humanity back into the morning. It reminds you both that your relationship is not a list of tasks. It's a connection that needs nurturing. Sometimes it's not even a compliment, but a word of encouragement. "You've got this today. I believe in you. Don't worry, everything will be okay." Those words become emotional armor for the person hearing them. They walk into the day a little stronger, a little calmer, because the first voice they heard was one of love and support. It's easy to underestimate how much of an impact that can make, but for happy couples, that's the difference between feeling like teammates versus feeling like two people surviving side by side. Saying something kind doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend everything's perfect. It just means you choose love first. You choose to build emotional connection before addressing practical matters. There's always time to discuss what went wrong later in the day, but mornings are delicate. They're not made for fixing, they're made for affirming. When your partner feels emotionally grounded from the start, even tough conversations later become easier because the foundation is secure. Even humor counts as kindness in the morning. A playful tease, a light-hearted comment, or an inside joke can instantly lift the mood. Happy couples often use humor as affection. It's their way of saying, "We still enjoy each other." That playfulness keeps relationships young. No matter how long you've been together, it turns a sleepy morning into a shared moment of laughter. And laughter, just like affection, is a glue that binds hearts quietly but firmly. What's beautiful about kind words in the morning is that they're free, quick, and effortless, yet their impact lasts all day. You can say something sweet in 5 seconds, and your partner might think about it for hours. They'll remember how you made them feel. Cared for, admired, and appreciated. Those emotions become the silent current running underneath their day, shaping how they respond to stress and how they think about you. Every morning is a new opportunity to write the emotional script for your relationship. The happiest couples know that before they leave the bed, before they step into work or the world, they should fill that space with words that heal, not harm. Because every kind word in the morning plants a seed of connection, and over time, those seeds grow into unshakable love. The happiest couples understand that love isn't just about emotional connection. It's also about alignment. Every morning before they go their separate ways into the world, they take a few minutes to align their intentions for the day. It's not a formal meeting or a deep discussion. It's a quiet ritual of teamwork. They ask, "What does your day look like?" Or, "Is there anything you need from me today?" These simple questions hold incredible power. They remind both people that they're not just individuals living parallel lives, they're partners moving in the same direction. When you align your intentions with your partner each morning, you create harmony, you begin the day as a team, instead of two people rushing through routines. This small act eliminates unnecessary friction because both of you know what the other person is walking into. You understand what kind of support they might need. Maybe your partner has a big presentation and feels nervous, or maybe they're dealing with something stressful. When you know that, you can adjust your energy, offer encouragement, give space, or add small gestures of reassurance throughout the day. That's what emotional alignment looks like in action. Happy couples treat this alignment as part of their love language. They don't just say, "I love you." They show it by being attentive to each other's plans, priorities, and pressures. It's not about control or monitoring. It's about awareness. They want to know what's on their partner's plate so they can lighten it. Even a little, this morning ritual becomes a foundation of partnership. When both people start their day knowing they're supported, it changes the entire tone of their interactions. Small misunderstandings don't escalate easily because both feel seen and understood. Alignment also prevents emotional distance. When you stop asking about your partner's day, it's easy to drift apart. You begin to live side by side, but not together. Over time, that leads to emotional separation, the kind that makes people feel like strangers even under the same roof. But when you intentionally check in every morning, you stay connected to each other's lives. You stay updated on what matters to them. You stay emotionally invested. It doesn't have to be long or serious. Sometimes it's as simple as a conversation while brushing teeth or drinking coffee. I have a crazy day today, but I'll text you when I can. Or I might be late tonight, but I'll miss you. These small exchanges carry weight. They build transparency and prevent miscommunication. They make your partner feel included, not ignored. When you share your day openly, you're saying, you're part of my world even when I'm not physically here. This kind of alignment isn't only about planning logistics, it's also about emotional intention. Happy couples don't just ask, what are you doing today? They ask, how do you want to feel today? That question shifts the focus from tasks to emotions. It invites vulnerability. It allows partners to express their mental or emotional state, which deepens understanding. Maybe one of you says, I just need a peaceful day. The other person can then help protect that peace by avoiding unnecessary stress, being extra gentle, or simply sending a kind message later. That's what partnership looks like in practice. Aligning intentions also means setting shared goals. It could be as small as, let's try to eat dinner together tonight, or let's take a walk after work. These micro goals create a sense of togetherness, even in busy lives. They remind both people that love requires coordination, not coincidence. You don't just bump into connection, you build it intentionally, day after day. Another beautiful part of morning alignment is how it strengthens trust. When you share your day, honestly, it creates transparency. There's no guessing, no assuming, no wondering where the other person stands. That openness builds emotional safety. You both know what to expect, and that predictability reduces anxiety. You start the day grounded instead of uncertain. Sometimes alignment isn't about words at all. It's about energy. You can sense when your partner is anxious or distracted. Instead of ignoring it, happy couples pause and acknowledge it. They might not solve it, but they offer reassurance. A simple, I've got you, can do wonders. That's emotional leadership. One partner taking the initiative to center the relationship before stepping into the chaos of the world. When two people align their intentions each morning, they move through the day like teammates rather than opponents. They don't compete for energy or attention, they share it. They know each other's rhythm, their emotional weather, their plans and pressures. That awareness becomes a kind of harmony that keeps them steady. Because the truth is, love doesn't stay strong by accident. It stays strong when two people decide every morning to face life not just side by side, but together. Love doesn't mean constant conversation, and connection doesn't always require words. The happiest couples understand this truth deeply. They know how to give each other space without creating distance. They've learned the delicate balance between being close and being free. In the mornings, this balance is especially important. It's the time when energy is sensitive, when both people are waking up not just physically but emotionally. Happy couples honor that space. They know when to talk and when to let silence do the nurturing. They recognize that presence and peace can exist together. Some mornings, one partner might want quiet, not out of moodiness, but out of need. Maybe they're mentally preparing for the day, processing something personal, or simply enjoying a few moments of calm. The other person doesn't take that personally. They don't rush to fill the silence or assume something is wrong. Instead, they give space gracefully, while staying emotionally open. That's the secret. Giving space without withdrawing love. It's an art that turns two individuals into a mature partnership. Giving space in the morning doesn't mean disconnection. It means creating room for both people to breathe as themselves. When you allow your partner to have their moment of stillness, it shows respect. You're saying, I trust you enough to be on your own for a bit. That trust deepens the bond because love isn't about constant closeness. It's about comfortable independence. Happy couples know that if one person needs silence, the other doesn't interpret it as rejection. They understand that solitude can be as healing as togetherness. In many relationships, space is misunderstood. People equate silence with coldness or distance with disinterest. But the truth is, love that suffocates is not love at all. The strongest relationships are the ones where both people can exist fully, where being alone for a few moments doesn't threaten connection. Mornings can be one of the most peaceful times to practice that. One person might sit by the window sipping coffee, lost in thought, while the other reads or prepares breakfast. There's no tension in that silence. It's harmony. It's a quiet companionship that says, I don't need you to entertain me. I just enjoy being near you. That kind of freedom strengthens intimacy instead of weakening it. When people feel free to be themselves, they show up more genuinely in the relationship. They don't hide, they don't perform, and they don't fear being misunderstood. Space becomes a signal of trust, a safe zone where both partners can recharge before facing the outside world. It's in these calm, unspoken moments that love matures. The happiest couples often describe mornings where they do completely different things but still feel connected. One might be in the kitchen making breakfast, the other in another room journaling or meditating. They cross paths occasionally, exchange a smile, a touch or a glance, and that's enough. The connection doesn't disappear when there's physical or conversational space. It's like music. Silence between notes doesn't break the melody, it makes it more beautiful. What makes this dynamic powerful is that both partners understand each other's rhythms. They've learned when to approach and when to step back. They know when their partner needs a word of comfort and when they need quiet understanding. This kind of emotional intelligence doesn't happen overnight. It grows from observation, empathy, and practice. It's what transforms love from emotional dependency into emotional partnership. Space also allows self-reflection. When each person has a little breathing room in the morning, they can check in with themselves, how they feel, what they need, and how they want to show up in the relationship. That self-awareness helps them communicate better and love more intentionally. When you rush through mornings without giving space, everything becomes reactive. But when you allow stillness, you start the day with clarity. As individuals and as a couple, some mornings, space might mean sitting together quietly, drinking coffee, no phones, no talking, just being. Other times it might mean doing things separately, but with the same energy of calm connection. The important thing is the emotional tone. You're not avoiding each other. You're respecting the moment. You're creating a rhythm where silence isn't emptiness, but shared peace. Happy couples don't fear quiet mornings because they've learned that love doesn't have to be loud to be strong. They understand that giving each other space doesn't take away from the relationship, it nourishes it. When both people can exist comfortably beside one another, one lost in thought, the other lost in routine, that's when love feels safe, deep, and unforced. The ability to give space without disconnecting is one of the truest signs of mature love, the kind that doesn't cling, doesn't demand, but simply flows. Happy couples understand that leaving each other in the morning isn't just a physical act, it's an emotional one. The moment before parting holds more meaning than most people realize. It's not just about walking out the door or saying a quick goodbye. It's about leaving your partner with a feeling of connection that lasts all day. The happiest couples never skip that final moment of closeness before they head in different directions. Whether it's a hug, a kiss, a hand squeeze, or even a loving word, they make sure that before they face the world, they face each other. This small ritual is powerful because it creates a sense of emotional continuity. When you leave your partner with warmth, you carry a part of them with you throughout the day. It's a reminder that no matter how busy or stressful things get, you're still a team. That small touch or look says, I'm with you, even when I'm not beside you. And that message is worth more than any grand romantic gesture. It creates security, a quiet emotional confidence that says, we're good. Think about the difference it makes. If you rush out the door distracted or irritated, it leaves an emotional gap. The energy lingers, that unspoken tension, that unfinished feeling. But when you pause, look your partner in the eyes and connect before leaving, you replace that tension with warmth. It takes only seconds, yet it transforms how both of you experience the rest of your day. It's not about habit or obligation. It's about choice. You're choosing to anchor love before stepping into the noise of life. A goodbye hug or kiss isn't just affection, it's communication. It says, you matter more than my schedule. It shows that you're not taking the relationship for granted, even in the midst of routine. Happy couples understand that these small rituals protect their emotional connection from erosion. Over time, these gestures become symbols of consistency, quiet promises that love still lives in the everyday moments. There's also a psychological comfort in physical connection before separation. When two people touch, even briefly, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It reduces anxiety and lowers stress. That's why a simple hug in the morning can calm both partners more than words ever could. It's like saying we're safe, we're solid. In a world full of distractions, that reassurance becomes priceless. For some couples, this connection takes the form of a goodbye routine, maybe a kiss at the door, a quick message after leaving, or even a small inside joke they share before parting. The details don't matter as much as the intention behind it. It's about making the last moment before separation feel warm, not cold, connected, not mechanical. Those few seconds can become the emotional heartbeat of the relationship, the part that reminds both partners what they're returning to at the end of the day. What makes this ritual so powerful is its consistency. When you make it a habit, it becomes something your partner can rely on. It doesn't matter if the morning is chaotic or calm, that one moment of connection stays constant. It provides emotional stability like an anchor in unpredictable waters. Even if you argued the night before, that simple gesture can begin to heal the tension. It says, we might not be perfect, but I still care. It's easy to underestimate the significance of these tiny acts. Life gets busy. People rush to work, answer calls, and juggle responsibilities. But love lives in the spaces between those things, in the seconds before you walk away. That's when you decide whether your partner starts their day feeling loved or overlooked. Happy couples choose to make that moment count. They know that how you leave each other in the morning often shapes how you greet each other at night. Sometimes it's just eye contact, that unspoken exchange that says, we're good, I see you. Other times it's a playful smile, a whispered I love you, or a hand that lingers for a second longer than usual. These gestures might seem ordinary, but they carry extraordinary meaning. They build emotional memory, the kind that reminds your partner all day long that they're valued. What's beautiful is that this connection doesn't require perfect timing or elaborate effort. It can happen at the doorway, by the kitchen counter, or even in passing. The point is intention, to never leave the other person without love's reminder. When two people make this a daily ritual, it weaves an invisible thread between them. No matter how far apart they go, that thread keeps the bond alive. Leaving each other with connection before the day begins isn't just about affection, it's about reassurance, consistency, and emotional grounding. It's the quiet language of love that says, you and I, we're still here together, strong and safe. And even though the moment passes quickly, its impact echoes through every hour that follows. Happy couples understand that life gets busy, schedules clash, and days can feel rushed, but they also know that the key to keeping their connection alive is to check in emotionally before the day truly begins. This isn't about long, deep conversations or dramatic expressions of love. It's about pausing even for a minute to ask, how are you feeling today? That one question can completely shift the energy of a relationship. It tells your partner that you see them not just as part of your morning routine, but as a real person with emotions, worries, and dreams that matter to you. This check-in is what prevents emotional distance from creeping in. Many couples drift apart, not because of big arguments, but because of small daily disconnections. Mornings spent talking about chores, bills, or plans instead of how they actually feel. When you stop for a second and ask how your partner is doing, you break that pattern. You remind them that you care about their inner world, not just the logistics of life. It's a simple act of attention, but it has the power to make your partner feel deeply valued. The beauty of this practice is its simplicity. You don't need to schedule it or turn it into a dramatic moment. It can happen while sipping coffee, brushing teeth, or getting dressed. Maybe you notice your partner seems quiet, and you ask, "You okay today?" or "How did you sleep?" Maybe they look tense, and you say, "Rough morning." That little emotional awareness can transform their entire mindset. It's the difference between feeling alone in your morning stress and feeling supported by someone who truly cares. When two people make emotional check-ins a habit, they create a safe emotional space between them. Over time, that space becomes a refuge, a place where honesty and vulnerability feel natural. It's not about fixing every problem or having answers. It's about being emotionally present. Sometimes your partner doesn't need advice or solutions. They just need to feel heard before the chaos of the day takes over. Happy couples understand that listening can be far more powerful than speaking. This small ritual also prevents emotional buildup. When couples don't check in regularly, small frustrations or worries can pile up silently until they explode over something trivial. But when you create a rhythm of checking in, even briefly, you release that pressure before it grows. It's like clearing emotional clutter before it turns into resentment. It keeps the relationship light, open, and emotionally honest. Emotional check-ins also deepen intimacy because they show that you care about your partner's emotional landscape, not just their actions. When you ask how they feel, you're saying, "Your heart matters to me." That kind of validation strengthens the emotional bond between two people. It reassures your partner that they don't have to hide their stress or sadness to keep the morning peaceful. They can be real with you. That level of openness creates a deeper sense of trust and comfort, the foundation of long-term happiness. What makes this ritual powerful is that it doesn't require both partners to always be in perfect moods. Even on tough mornings, maybe one is grumpy or tired, the act of asking still matters. It sends a message of consistency. Even when we're not at our best, I still care. That's how relationships become resilient. It's not about avoiding bad days, it's about showing up emotionally, even when things aren't easy. The timing of these moments also plays a big role. Morning check-ins work because they happen before the world floods your attention. Once you step outside, you're pulled in 100 directions. Work, notifications, traffic, responsibilities. But when you check in early, before the rush, you set the tone for the day. You give your partner a moment of grounding, a reminder that no matter what challenges come, they're not facing them alone. Sometimes these moments don't involve words at all. Maybe it's a touch on the shoulder, a knowing look, or a small smile that says, "I get you." Emotional check-ins don't have to be verbal to be meaningful. They're about presence, about taking a breath together before diving into the day. That shared moment of awareness can feel like an emotional exhale, a small but powerful reminder that you're still connected. The truth is, many couples underestimate how much these tiny emotional moments matter. They think grand gestures keep relationships alive, but it's actually these quiet, consistent acts of emotional care that build true intimacy. When your partner starts their day feeling emotionally seen, they carry that security with them. It softens their mood, boosts their confidence, and subtly reminds them throughout the day that they're loved. Checking in emotionally before the day begins is like setting a compass for the relationship. It ensures that no matter where the day takes you, both of you remain aligned in heart and intention. It's one of those small, invisible habits that build lasting love, not through intensity, but through gentle daily connection that says, "I see you, I care, and I'm here." Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotional connectors in a relationship, and happy couples know that expressing it in the morning changes everything. The way you start your day together shapes how you feel about each other long after you've parted ways. When one person takes a moment to appreciate the other, to notice, to say thank you, to acknowledge even the smallest act, it sets a tone of warmth and connection that carries into every interaction. Gratitude in the morning isn't about perfection or performance, it's about presence. It's about saying, "I see what you do and it matters." The truth is, people in long-term relationships often start to take things for granted. The coffee that's always made, the clothes that are folded, the effort to listen, the emotional support, all of it begins to blend into the background of daily life. But the happiest couples resist that drift into complacency. They stay awake to each other's efforts. They make gratitude a morning habit, not a grand gesture, but a gentle recognition. It can be as simple as, "Thanks for making breakfast," or "I really appreciate you waking up early with me." These little acknowledgements become emotional anchors that remind both partners love is seen, not assumed. When you wake up and start your day by saying something kind or appreciative, you send your partner into the world with a full heart. That simple act of appreciation becomes emotional armor. It makes them feel valued, confident, and connected. Gratitude tells your partner that they're not invisible. It says, "You're doing great, I notice your effort," and that acknowledgement can change how they carry themselves through the day. It doesn't just make them feel good, it strengthens your emotional bond. Because when people feel appreciated, they naturally want to give more, love more, and show up better. Gratitude is also an antidote to negativity. Mornings can be chaotic, alarms, work stress, deadlines, traffic, responsibilities. It's easy to let that chaos define the emotional tone of your morning. But when you pause to express gratitude, even for something small, it rewires your focus. You stop reacting to the rush and start connecting to what's good. You shift from what needs to be done to what am I thankful for. That simple mental shift brings calm and connection instead of tension and distraction. The beautiful thing about gratitude is that it doesn't have to be elaborate. It's often most powerful when it's spontaneous. Maybe your partner makes you smile and you say, "I love how you always make mornings easier." Maybe they hand you your coffee and you respond with a heartfelt, "Thank you, that means a lot." These small words ripple outward. They create an emotional echo that lasts far longer than the moment itself. Gratitude makes love tangible, something you can hear, feel, and hold on to. It's also worth noting that gratitude isn't just about what you say, it's about how you show it. A gentle touch, a smile, or even an affectionate glance can express appreciation without words. Sometimes it's the quiet gestures, the way you look at your partner, the way you soften your tone, that communicate the deepest gratitude. Those nonverbal moments say, "I don't take you for granted." And that emotional awareness creates trust, security, and closeness. When couples make gratitude part of their morning rhythm, it becomes their emotional reset button. No matter what happened yesterday, a disagreement, a stressful evening, gratitude allows a fresh start. It helps dissolve lingering tension, because you can't hold on to frustration and express genuine appreciation at the same time. The moment you say thank you, your heart softens. You remember what's good instead of what's lacking. That's why happy couples never skip it. It keeps the emotional balance healthy. Gratitude also shapes how you see your partner. When you actively look for things to appreciate, you start noticing the good more often. Instead of focusing on flaws or irritations, you begin to see the qualities that drew you to them in the first place. That awareness keeps admiration alive. You're no longer just coexisting, you're actively choosing to value each other. And that conscious appreciation feeds emotional intimacy in a way that time alone never could. It's amazing how such a small habit can have such a big impact. Two people taking a few seconds each morning to acknowledge each other create an emotional culture of respect and positivity. It becomes a shared language of love, quiet, consistent, and grounding. Gratitude is not about perfection or pretending everything is wonderful. It's about seeing what is wonderful, even in the middle of ordinary chaos. Over time, this morning, gratitude builds emotional safety. When your partner knows that their efforts will be noticed and appreciated, they relax into the relationship. They don't feel they have to fight for acknowledgement or prove their worth. They know that you see them, really see them, and that creates peace. The simple words, "thank you," may sound small, but in a loving relationship, they echo louder than anything else. Gratitude doesn't just brighten mornings, it strengthens love itself, turning ordinary days into shared moments of meaning. Happy couples understand that the way they say goodbye in the morning sets the emotional tone for the rest of the day. That final moment before parting isn't just a routine gesture, it's a symbolic reminder of their connection. The happiest couples never leave each other without a meaningful goodbye, no matter how busy, late, or distracted they are. Whether it's a hug, a kiss, a few kind words, or even a simple look of affection, they treat that moment as sacred. It's the last emotional exchange before stepping into a world full of stress, deadlines, and distractions. It's their quiet way of saying, no matter what happens today, we're still connected. There's something deeply grounding about ending the morning together with love instead of rushing out the door in silence. When one person leaves feeling unseen or emotionally disconnected, it lingers throughout the day. The mind replays the tension or absence of warmth, making even small challenges feel heavier. But when you say goodbye with intention, a touch, a smile, or an I love you, it provides emotional reassurance. It reminds both people that the relationship is solid, that love is still alive in the middle of life's busyness. That reassurance is like emotional armor. It helps both partners face the day with confidence and peace. It's not about the grandness of the gesture. It's about the sincerity behind it. Sometimes it's a 2-second kiss at the door. Sometimes it's a whispered, take care of yourself, or can't wait to see you tonight. These small acts of love might look ordinary from the outside, but inside the relationship, they are monumental. They keep affection alive. They keep both people emotionally tethered, even when distance or stress tries to pull them apart. The happiest couples understand that every goodbye is a small opportunity to reinforce connection, not routine. When couples skip that moment too often, a subtle emotional gap begins to form. Mornings become mechanical, wake up, get ready, leave, and the relationship starts running on autopilot. Over time, those missed moments of tenderness can build into emotional distance. You might still live together, but the warmth begins to fade. Happy couples prevent that drift by being intentional with their goodbyes. They make them count. They don't treat love like something that happens accidentally. They treat it like something that must be nurtured daily. There's also a physiological side to this ritual. Physical touch, even something as simple as a hug or a kiss, releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It calms the nervous system, reduces stress, and increases trust. That means when you take a moment to physically connect before leaving, you're not just showing love, you're also strengthening it chemically. Your body literally remembers that feeling of safety and closeness. It's why a brief hug can make you feel calmer and more secure as you step into your day. The emotional impact goes both ways. The person leaving feels supported and the person staying behind feels appreciated. It's mutual reassurance, a shared moment that says, we're a team. Even if one of you is rushing to work and the other is still half asleep, that brief interaction matters. It breaks the pattern of mindless routine and replaces it with mindfulness. It transforms a goodbye into a moment of intimacy. What's also beautiful about this ritual is that it carries emotional memory. When you make it a habit to say goodbye with affection, your partner starts to associate mornings with love, not stress. They begin to expect that warmth, not because it's predictable, but because it's dependable. That consistency builds emotional safety. No matter what life throws your way, you both know that every morning ends with love and every day starts with connection. Even during arguments or rough patches, this small habit has power. It's easy to withhold affection when emotions are high, but the couples who stay strong know that sometimes love must come before pride. Saying goodbye with kindness doesn't mean you're ignoring a problem. It means you're choosing love even when it's hard. It sends a powerful message. We might be upset, but we're still us. That choice can begin to heal tension before words even do. A meaningful goodbye can take many forms. For some, it's physical. A long hug that lingers for a few seconds longer than usual. For others, it's emotional. A warm smile, a text that says, drive safe, I love you. The form doesn't matter as much as the feeling it carries. The important thing is that both people feel emotionally seen before they part ways. Because when love is expressed intentionally, it lingers in the mind, in the body, and in the heart. Life moves fast. Mornings can be chaotic, but amidst the rush, those who take even 30 seconds to pause and connect before saying goodbye protect something sacred, the energy of their relationship. It's not about time, it's about intention. That final kiss, that look, that word of care, it's a promise that no matter where the day takes them, they'll find their way back to each other. It's a daily reminder that love doesn't live only in the grand moments. It thrives in the quiet, consistent gestures that say, you're my person, and I'll never forget that, even when I walk out the door. At the heart of every strong relationship lies 1,000 tiny choices. Choices made quietly, consistently, every single morning. The secret morning routine that happy couples never skip isn't built on perfection, luxury, or endless time. It's built on intention. It's the choice to wake up not just beside someone, but with them. It's the decision to start each day as partners, not just people sharing a space. These moments, the touch, the gratitude, the laughter, the goodbye might seem small, but together they create the rhythm of love. Love isn't sustained by grand gestures once in a while. It's sustained by presence, patience, and connection repeated every day when couples slow down. Even for a few seconds to check in, to appreciate, to connect, they're doing more than just sharing a morning. They're building emotional security that lasts a lifetime. The happiest couples understand that these moments are not a luxury but a lifeline. They are the invisible threads that keep a relationship strong, especially when life gets busy and days get heavy. So if you want to build the kind of love that feels peaceful, alive, and unshakable, don't wait for the big moments. Start with the small ones. The way you greet each other, the way you listen, the way you leave each other in the morning. Because love doesn't grow in the noise of life. It grows in the quiet rituals you share before the day begins. That's the real secret happy couples never skip. Not a perfect morning, but a connected one.